Hi and welcome to Beauty Savvy. Today I want to take you through a whole lot of amazing Rimmel Brow products. So if you're blonde like me or if you are fair, brows are always a problem. So I've taken my brow liner off already, and as you can see, what happens is that the ends start to get blonder and blonder and it looks like I've got half an eyebrow, which really isn't that flattering. And we all know that brows are what frame our face, so it really does make a difference to have beautifully shaped eyebrows. So besides obviously having to wax and tint them or go for threading, I can't maintain that all the time, and in between that I do need top-ups like now, where I can quickly fill it in and still look like I've got great eyebrows. So this is what I'm going to show you today. I'm sitting with a whole lot of amazing products, like the shimmering highlighter, some brow pencils, what do we call this? A Brow This Way little soft powder tool, which is stunning. I've been using this for the last week, so I'm going to show you how to use that. And then a brow gel, a colored gel, as well as another brow pencil and a brow eyeshadow. So quite a lot to show you. I'm going to do a little bit here, a little bit there, and hopefully we can get through it and I can show you what it looks like. Okay, so the first one I do want to show you is the one, as I say, I have been using for the last week. This one has the Brow This Way, and it's an ultra soft powder, and it's a very light brown, which suits me being blonde perfectly, because there's nothing worse than having brows that are way too dark for your skin color. So for me to go black is just ridiculous. A light brown works really nicely. So this is what the tip looks like. So it's actually very soft, bendable tip. And it's got the brow powder on. So important just to knock some of the powder off inside here, otherwise it is a bit too strong. And to apply it very lightly, because the first time I did this, I used it almost like as a pencil, and it's a bit too hard, it's a bit too much. So we're going to start it on this side, and I'm going to show you, and I'm going to just brush it on very lightly. I'm going in upward strokes, and I'm following my natural brow line. So if you make a mistake, it doesn't matter, because it's just powder. I mean, you can wipe it away with your finger, which is what also makes it really easy. If you wanted to be a little bit more specific, you could draw the line up front and then sort of fill it in as to the shape that you want. And if you feel like you've done a little bit too much, what I've just been doing is you just take your finger and brush it up so you can blend it into your brow quite easily. And as you can see, that's taken no time at all, and I'd be happy to go out like this, no problem. You can set it with a brow gel. What I love is the Brow This Way. This is a highlighting pencil, so it's always nice to put a little bit of the highlighter underneath your brow, because it opens up the eye area. So I'm going to do that, and then you just smudge it in with your finger. And look, we're done on one side. So I'm quite unbalanced at the moment, because clearly I've got one nice brow and the other one's looking really gross. So the next one I'm going to use is, we could use the pencil, but I feel like showing you the brow powder, and I think that's a really nice product to use as well. Okay, so when we have a look at this, inside here are actually two different shades, but not only two different shades, they're actually two different formulas. The one is a wax formula, which allows you to define and shape the brow. The other one is powder, which you want to put over that. It helps set the wax, and it also gives it more a powdery, so a more natural finished look. And then it comes with the two brushes to allow you to do that, and of course a brush to help you sculpt and just make sure that those brows are all facing the right direction. So let's have a look at that. Let's see what we can do with this. And I always find using a wax or a powder like this is really very easy, because as long as you've got a bit of a steady hand and your brows follow a basic shape, I don't think you can go too wrong, because it's really like just painting them in. Okay, so I'm just following the natural brow shape. So for those who are not entirely sure how to shape their brows, the best thing, of course, is to work with what you've got. You know, if you really like those high pointy arched ones, but you don't have high pointy arched eyebrows, it's going to look a bit silly. So stick with what you've got, work with it. Rule of thumb is if you use a pencil, and the top of your arch should be where the outside of your pupil ends. So for me, that's pretty much there. There we go. That's where I need to arch, which is pretty much what's happening. And when you take the pen and you take it by the end of your eye, stick it up, that's where it needs to end. So you don't want your brows going down much further than that. You don't want them to be shorter than that, because that also looks a little odd, but that's the rule of thumb. So what I've done is I've actually just painted that in. That was super, super quick. It's got a bit of a waxy texture. And now I'm going to use the powder, and I'm just going to put a little bit over it and brushing it in a little bit more. And you can see that it's actually really sticking to the wax. And possibly in my case, right now, this is too dark. So it is a shade that I've got and I'm using, but I think looking at the different colors here, that is a little bit too dark for me. That really stands out. It's also a good indicator though of how much more powder goes on. So I think if you are looking at a less dramatic tone, then a lighter shade certainly for me would be worthwhile. So that's using those two products. Okay, so I'm back. I've taken this one off again because it was a little bit dramatic for me. And I have the Rimmel Brow This Way styling gel with argan oil, which is great. I've used products like this before. They are so simple. I love having this in my handbag because one or two quick little brushes and you're done. You're good to go. And if you look at this color, it's also really my color. So it's a nice blonde, which will suit me much better. So it is a brush, so it's really just lightly brushing the hair in the direction that it would go anyway and filling it in lightly. And there we go. Simple, done, brows in a flash. I love it. And again, the highlighting pencil, I could just put underneath to highlight it and put it all up. So I think some really, really great products here. Very, very easy to use. Whether you are a pencil user and you still like your little brow brush, why not? That works if you are a powder user, and that works for you because I think if you've got very thin brows and you like to fill in the areas, a brow powder is the way to go. It looks fantastic. Otherwise, this little guy is not leaving my handbag, and a brow gel is, of course, very handy. So go out, try them yourself, and see what you think.